my fellow nerds, this is take two. Someone decided to call in the middle of the previous recording, so I have to do this again. Hey. Ugh. Bless you. Well, bless me. Anyway, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Oh, by the way, I am currently in Illinois. I am a little bit south of Chicago. So, I'm currently waiting for like a message saying that my bills are ready. So right now I'm just kind of wasting time. So today I thought I'd do something a little different. We're going to talk about a TV show, one of my favorite TV shows, Grimm, spelled with two M's, as in the Brothers Grimm, which this show takes heavy inspiration from. So, how to talk about it? Well, you follow Nick Burkhardt, who is a Grimm, and in this world you have you have humans, you have Grimms, and you have Wesen. And Wesens are basically human, but with a little something extra. Trying to think of a good way of talking about it, and that sun's starting to peek in. It's like but yeah. So you have so Wesen are, like I said, they're humans with a little something extra. Think kind of like werewolves and vampires, but not quite like werewolves and vampires. You know what I mean? They're not quite shapeshifters, but they do have a Wesen form that they can shift into. So that's really kind of like the best way I can explain it. And it's not a form that they carry all the time, that they wear all the time. So that's kind of one of the for me, that's kind of like one of the downsides of the show, is that they push its emphasis on what they call voguing, which is German. So the first letter is not a V, it's a W. That always kind of like that's one thing I've always kind of like enjoyed about foreign languages. How letters kind of change sounds. So it's WOGE, but it's pronounced Vogue. So I've always just kind of enjoyed it. And each of these Wesens, they do have their name and of what they are. And a lot of them are German. That's actually kind of like the most common language you're going to see in the show. But there are some that's Spanish, Greek, I want to say Italian. So there's a little bit of a mixture. And a lot of the Wesen are not just from Grimm fairy tales. Some of them are, kind of more based on, myths and folklore from other regions. For those of you who don't really know, the Grimm fairy tales focus mostly on France and Germany. A little bit on not too much, a little bit on England, but for the most part, France, Germany, those are the two main areas that the Grimm fairy tales take place in. But yeah, so basically it's a cop show. So each episode, you're kind of dealing with each episode you're kind of dealing with a crime, and Nick being a Grimm, has to try to, he's a Grimm and he's a cop. So he's trying to solve both crimes of both worlds, basically. And yeah, it's just a really good show. You have the main storyline of each episode, but you also have a B plot, which is like the overarching storyline of the season, basically. So, not a really well-known cast. You may recognize a few of them, but for the most part, I think they did a great job in casting, and a lot of these people were maybe not well-known. They've been in a few things, but for the most part, these are relatively unknown people. So, trying to get out of the sun. I could move my damn shades, but I don't want to. So yeah, and you start off the show with Nick finding out he's a Grimm, you know, and so it's really kind of good to kind of follow a character as they're learning, and yeah, so like I know, like, once again, I feel like I'm not doing the show justice, um, but yeah, I have absolutely loved it. I watched it when it first came out, and ever since then, I've just been rewatching like certain episodes like over and over again, and certain scenes in particular, and it's absolutely wonderful. It does kind of drop off in. It is a TV show, and unfortunately, it's a show that tried too hard with some of its CGI, because you know, it doesn't quite have movie level budget, so some of the CGI is a little like, but there are times when it's actually really good for a TV show. Keep that in mind. It's, like I said, it's a TV show, so but it does do a good job, and I love the interaction between the characters, and I love you know, some of the storylines that they've chosen for the episodes. The very first episode basically followed this kind of a storyline of Little Red Riding Hood. Second episode was Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and it's just really kind of nice to see. And the variety of Vesson that you see also are really nice. Kind of my biggest thing though is because they didn't really quite have, you know, I don't really know what the budget was for the episodes, but you know, probably because, you know, they didn't have a super big they didn't have fucking Game of Thrones level budgeting. They didn't have that quite high, obviously, for the show. But so that does mean that basically a lot of, you know, what the Vesson can do literally is just change, and some things are like hinted at, but for the most part, there's some interpretation of what each Vesson can actually do. Like, what is their like special ability? What makes them, you know, like dangerous or something like that. And so that's kind of like one of the show's downsides. So if the show had just a higher budget, like, we could have actually shown each Vesson like having something different, something that was unique. But let's see. I'm trying to decide if I want to talk about, you know, some of the Vesson, because it's really kind of interesting. Because some of them can be interesting, and my favorite like always shifts all the time. You know, because it's like, ooh, I like this one. Ooh, but this one is also pretty cool. But then it's like, ooh, but I'm also a dog person, and you have a lot of dog Vesson here. So it's like, ooh, I wonder if I want to be a dog Vesson or if I want to be this other Vesson, and it's just really cool. And some of the Vesson actually aren't really like a lot of them are animals, but some of them can be you know, more like elementals or concepts that are really kind of like brought to life. Because you also have let's see, I'm trying not to get into spoilers, but let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna really try to avoid getting into spoilers. You know, I think I might be ready to leave, because I mean, I've been sitting here for about 7 hours at this point, and they haven't really touched my truck in a while, so I might be good to go. We'll see. But yeah, so it's on Amazon if you're interested in watching it. It's on Prime. A lot of people have Prime. If you don't have Prime, you probably know someone who does. But yeah, it's a really great show. Give it a try. I believe there are 6 seasons, And each season is usually about 20-ish episodes around that mark, except for the final season. I think that one kind of dropped off because a lot of interest in the show had kind of waned. So the final season really was decent, but at the same time a little on the disappointing side. So it does drop off, unfortunately. So, but still, it is still worth a watch, especially the first couple of seasons. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Lot of some tension there, character chemistry, you know, and even some decent fight scenes. I mean, those are pretty cool, you know. So, yeah. Anyway, you guys be good, have fun. You guys know what to do, and give that show a watch. All right, and hopefully you're not disappointed. And maybe I'll talk about another show that you guys might like. Who knows? But yeah, you guys be good, have fun, and I'll see you guys later.